Hey, Nebraskans, I wanted to put this brief video out and in the hope that it would reach those of you who've come on to my Facebook page in particular to understand the issues related to 434 and the like. And so wanted to just send this brief message out. I'll try to be brief. I'll do my best to do that, but I've got a lot of ground to cover, so bear with me. I want to start by saying this election will undoubtedly go down in history as a pivotal moment for our nation. Donald Trump's return to office marks what I believe to be a reprieve and a halt of evil. And for that, I'm truly grateful. This is a moment for us to celebrate, to reflect, and to prepare for the work ahead. Here in Georgia, the state of Georgia, it got called late. I was definitely supporting Trump. Have my MAGA hat rolling and ready to go, and grateful that to see Trump win the election. I also want to say, by way of congratulations to Congressman Don Bacon, someone I hold in tremendous respect for. Congressman Bacon was actually gracious enough to consult me as I was trying to understand the issue around 434. Reached out to him over a Facebook post, and because of a previous relationship, he called me and talked with me and talked me through his reasoning for supporting 434, and I shared with him my rationale for opposing it, and even sent him a copy of the article that I'd planned on writing ahead of time. He was incredibly gracious, and though he disagreed with me, he was incredibly helpful and kind and gracious. And for that, I think I've always thought the world of Congressman Don Bacon, and still do to this day. Again, while we ultimately disagree, I cannot speak more highly of his leadership, of his character, and I'm grateful for his continued service to the people of Nebraska. I'm equally grateful for the conversation I had with former Lieutenant Governor Mike Foley. Though we stood on different sides of the issue, I want to express my sincere gratitude for his unwavering stand for life and for his commitment to the people of Nebraska. A great conversation. I think we spoke for nearly an hour on the phone, as he wanted to assure me that this constitutional amendment wouldn't enshrine the abortion into the state's constitution. We again differed on the issue and around the language, but he was incredibly gracious, and I'm grateful for that conversation. His passion and integrity were evident, and I have tremendous respect for him. Over the course of this debate, I've had numerous additional conversations with people that I hope we're able to build bridges with in the future. And my goal has always been to add what I believe is an often overlooked part of the conversation in these debates. Grateful for being able to have these conversations behind the scenes, but have no problem having them in the open air. What I believe is missing in these conversations is the issue of abortion. I believe that the pro-life movement has been impactful in its language, and in instances problematic. I'll explain it this way. I think because of the pro-life movement, we've come to see babies conceived under the conditions of sexual assault as lives that can be thrown away, like we should in fact abort. It is okay in essence to abort children that are conceived out of RAPE or incest. I think that's misguided. It's problematic. While I don't mitigate or diminish the challenge that a woman goes through as a result of that, erasing the memory of a tragic situation like that will not, aborting the baby in those instances will not erase the memory, and it will only compound the issue. I believe the language around that in the pro-life movement has been problematic. I believe that some of the language around 12 weeks and 6 weeks and these mitigating points cloud the issue and leave in the minds of the average everyday person the idea that life worth protecting are only those lives that aren't conceived under those conditions, or that life worth protecting are only those lives given at a certain point. I believe that's what's problematic. And so what often gets missed in those conversations is, how do we abolish abortion altogether? And so I want to add that language to our ongoing conversation. I hope that's helpful. One thing that I deeply believe and have shared in many of these conversations is that far too often pro-life thinking allows us to settle for what is good and then abandoning what is right. And while the passage of 434 reflects good intentions of many Nebraskans, I want to take a moment again to explain why I believe that this was not the right step forward. Now, my goal in this is not to rehash all of the issues related to that. I think my other videos did that well, but to leave you with a few ideas around it. I mentioned in my previous video that I believe that 434 and 439 address the issue that while both address the issue of life and when life could end, they were not an either or choice, and that the defeat of 439 the pro-abortion initiative was a significant victory in and of itself that would have settled the issue without the need for any further action. But by enshrining the 12-week abortion into the state constitution, 434 took an unnecessary step. Legislative Bill 574 had already prohibited abortions after 12 weeks and effectively safeguarding the children in the second and third trimesters. And by adding 434, into the Constitution, it didn't provide any additional protection for preborn babies. It simply codified the issue into the Constitution. I recognize that many disagree with me as it relates to the language of enshrining. Again, I read the amendment to you and for you to decide whether that's the case. But here's the reality: the true test of whether the enshrining language into the Constitution was wrong on my part, and I'm happy, believe me, I'm happy to be proven wrong. This will be the test. This will be the true test: whether the organizations that fought to promote this initiative will either sit, settle, or sideline the issue of ending abortion. What are they going to do in the days moving ahead? That's the true test, right? In the days to come, you're going to hear arguments like, well, we don't have the votes for a 6-week heartbeat bill, so we need to settle for what we have. It's enough for now. Worse yet, you may hear nothing at all, complete silence on the issue. And that's how the issue gets sidelined. With a president who isn't advocating for abortion federally and state officials who feel victorious with this amendment, the pro-life movement may even go quiet. Finally, as you press the issue, you may be made to feel as though your position of protecting babies in the first trimester or protecting babies that are conceived in actual cases of sexual assault is extreme. There will be those who will make you feel as if you want to move the ball beyond 12 weeks, that's extreme. I don't know. We don't have enough votes, and we gotta. And so the work gets sidelined. They want you to sit down. They want you to be sidelined or silenced. Don't allow them to force you to sit, to settle, or to be sidelined. It's critical to ensure that this issue does not die a quiet death until the next election cycle with vague promises of doing more. It will be important in the days to come to ensure that this constitutional amendment doesn't create the opportunities for leaders, for legislators, or the general public to fall back asleep at the wheel. Keep in mind that 93% of abortion vulnerable babies will remain unprotected if we do nothing. 93% of abortions happen in the first trimester. Keep that in mind. I'll do my part here. I'll keep running a tab on the length of time it takes for the pro-life movement to push the ball forward. They said that I was wrong, and believe me, I'm happy to be wrong. I'm hopeful that I am wrong. And I'm anxious to see and hear what the next steps look like in the battle to end abortion in Nebraska. I look forward to being home, and yes, I still call Nebraska my home. I plan to see my adult children here over the holidays. I'd love nothing more than to connect with you while I'm there. I have plans to reach out and connect with others, to have coffee conversations with many of the people that I connected with regarding this issue. And I'm hopeful that partnership will result as together we seek to end abortion in Nebraska. I'm grateful to all of you who've reached out and the conversations that we've had. My hope is that all of them have been respectful, though we disagree, and look forward to the opportunity to connect with you once I return to my home state of Nebraska here in December. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can check me out wherever I'm blogging here at g3men.org. Also write for Standing for Freedom, the Standing for Freedom Center there in Virginia. Also just started writing for Blexit, the Black Exodus there with Turning Point USA. And then you can find me with Just Thinking, the Just Thinking podcast at justthinking.me or on Fearless with Jason Whitlock, or just inbox me. Hoping each of you are well. Take care and God bless.